diet culture buzzwords and why you shouldn't be listening to them. If you go on social media, even if you open any kind of like diety magazine, you're going to find so many buzzwords when it comes to nutrition and weight loss that are just destined to grab your attention, have you like read their article and potentially buy their product. As a nutritionist, I find these buzzwords to be quite harmful, and today I'm going to go through a lot of the buzzwords that I see in the nutrition and health weight loss sphere and debunk them. And starting out strong, number one, we have toxin, and this one is used a lot in diet culture. It will promote removing toxins without specifying like which ones from your body with their specific product. So toxins exist, don't get me wrong, but they're probably not what you think. There aren't going to be toxins if you're eating like fruit or pasta or cookies. There's no toxins in that. You can find toxins in things like alcohol or in like mold if you're eating mold from your food, or certain products that people will literally inject in their face like Botox. Not saying that it's wrong, but it's so funny when you're like promoting Botox and then being like, oh, drink my smoothie to get rid of toxins. This concept of like accumulating toxins from the foods that we eat because of pesticides or processed foods or the food industry trying to poison you, all of that is not supported by any good evidence, and it is just, again, a way to get your money. You already have systems in place in your body that are effective at removing the actual toxins, like the ones I talked about before. Your liver, your kidneys, they all do the correct work to get that out of your body. You do not need to be helping it with super expensive supplements. Number two, we have the word clean foods. So I really don't like this word. It implies that there are also foods that are dirty, and that is not the case. Again, similar to the toxin thing, like the dirty food would be food that like fell on the floor or food that you left out for too long on your table and it collected dust. Like that would be dirty food. A cookie is not dirty food. Again, this term clean foods has no scientific basis. Of course, there are going to be foods that are a little bit more nutrient dense than others, other foods who have a little bit more calories, but that does not mean that one type of food is clean and the other is dirty. That is something that can really promote an unhealthy relationship with food and lead to restricting the dirty foods in favor of the clean foods, but then leading to like binging because you're not getting enough satisfying foods. Also, the term clean food will extend to foods that are like really healthy, like fruit and veggies, but that have pesticides or that aren't grown organically, things like that. And this is very dangerous because people are going to prevent themselves from eating these foods that are so beneficial for them just because in their head they view them as like dirty. I shouldn't be eating that. I'm going to get all these like chemicals and pesticides. So I'm just not gonna do that. So again, very misleading term. Let's not use that. Number three, we have the word leaky gut that is used as a reason behind like every single health issue and like gut issue that there is. Now, leaky gut in its definition is actually something that exists scientifically. It's when your intestinal barriers are less effective at preventing substances from like leaking out of it and then getting into your body. So that's a thing. However, it is a symptom for well-established diseases like Crohn's disease or like type 1 diabetes or like celiac disease. These are diseases that are associated with shifts in the intestinal barrier that may present itself like what has been coined as leaky gut. However, these conditions have specific diagnoses criteria. They're very well defined and they are not referred to as leaky gut. And the issue I have with this word is that it is completely overused by a lot of wellness influencers who will attribute any kind of symptom from like headaches to like nausea to bloating to fatigue. All of that is because of your leaky gut. And no, Just a little reminder that you can find all of the services I offer on my website, and that's going to be the first link in the description. You can check out things that are paid, like my nutrition coaching sessions or my courses, but there's also a ton of free material, from webinars to ebooks to checklists to challenges, so make sure to check that out. Number 4, it kind of goes with number 1, and that is detoxes. I cannot stand this word. Every time somebody mentions going on a detox, there are no toxins that you are consuming that you need to detox from, and if there are, then your liver and your kidneys, your whole lymphatic system can do the work on their own. They're very well designed to do so, and if you are adding stuff to your body like supplements or like weight loss detox teas or whatever, that is only creating more work for them and can be harmful. And at best, you're just losing your money because these things are ridiculously overpriced. The thing that really irks me with the detoxes is that they promote this terribly unhealthy relationship with food, where people can just eat a bunch of like super fried processed food and then be like, oh, it's fine, I'm just gonna detox on Monday. And so this is just a very dangerous binge restrict cycle. So they're gonna eat all their like cheat meals on the weekend, and then they're gonna be detoxing on Monday, drinking their super expensive tea that's gonna give them diarrhea, and they're gonna lose like 10 pounds, but it's gonna be just water weight. But you know, they're not gonna care. They're gonna be like, oh, I'm so detoxed, I lost like all this weight. But this is just horrible on your body, and it's horrible for the mental image you have of food. Again, classifying certain foods as like the good foods that help you detox, and other foods as like the bad foods that make you gain weight. You know, we don't want to be doing that. If you want to support your natural detox system, you need to drink water and eat a bunch of fiber. You know, that's it. Number 5 is one I hear all the time, and it just drives me crazy. It's inflammatory foods. There's so much marketing that goes into this, so many products that are going to be marketed as anti-inflammatory, and others that are going to be seen as like super inflammatory. And there are multiple issues I have with this. The first one is that inflammatory is not a blanket statement that can be made for like all foods for everybody. If you are allergic to certain foods, then of course these foods will trigger inflammation for you, but that does not mean that they are inflammatory foods for everybody. And conversely, I mean, of course, don't get me wrong, there are certain foods that have been proven to increase inflammation markers, like certain processed meats and like very fried foods and like alcohol, things like that. Yes. However, when I talk about the problem of this buzzword inflammation, is that I also see so many people saying that like fruit and veggies aren't inflammatory because they have anti-nutrients, or that grains are inflammatory because our ancestors like didn't consume them, so now it just inflames our entire body. Like, these things are harmful because, again, we're talking about whole foods that are super beneficial for you, that the science shows increase lifespan and increase wellness and reduce disease rates, and people are avoiding these foods because they're inflammatory. People will say that seed oils are inflammatory when like studies don't show that. And then they're turning to processed drinks and like smoothies and like bars that are anti-inflammatory. Number 6, we have superfoods. So people suggesting that foods are super beneficial and have extraordinary health benefits, and oftentimes are worth paying a very big price because they have like all these incredible health benefits. Of course, there are foods that are healthy, there are foods that have more nutrients. That is true. However, the term superfood is just not well adjusted to that, because when you hear that, you think that the food is going to have some like incredible outstanding properties that are going to like surpass other foods, and that's just not the case. If you want to eat a healthy diet, you need to eat a bunch of different food, a variety of veggies and whole foods and grains and like legumes and nuts and seeds, all these things, and that's where you're going to get the health benefits from. So again, when the focus is shifted off of that and on the superfoods, it's just not ideal. It's not the most efficient, and it's also not the most cost effective, because the foods that are coined as superfoods are usually going to be extremely expensive. because marketing, again. At number 7, oh, I love hearing this one and debunking it when people tell me about it. That is chemicals, and this idea that the bad foods with the toxins have the chemicals, and that is not natural and not good for you. This is really used to invoke fear in certain foods because they have like all these artificial chemicals that are going to go into your body, and your body's not going to know what to do with them, and it's going to be bad for your health. What's very funny to me with this is that everything is made up of chemicals. Like cookies are made with chemicals, and french fries are made with chemicals. Water is made with chemicals also, and we're made with chemicals too. It's just everything is chemicals. Please don't be afraid of a food because it has chemicals. And number 8, and I hear this buzzword a lot too, that is hormone disruptor. This is mentioned so much in products where it will say that they are hormone disruptors, and that if you're eating this, you will get all of your hormones out of whack. And if you eat this supplement, then it will help balance your hormones. So first of all, balancing your hormones doesn't really mean anything. And while there are endocrine disruptors that do actually disrupt your hormones, that is not something that you can, it's not just like a blanket statement you can use. It has to be something where it's like specific to the hormone. You have to be able to say, okay, this is a disruptor to this hormone because it fixes itself on like this receptor and alters like this pathway, and this happens, you know, something like that. And even then, just because a food interacts with your hormonal pathways doesn't mean that it's something negative. This is something I hear a lot with soy, for instance. People are afraid of soy binding to like estrogen receptors, and the thing is that soy has isoflavones which will bind to one of the receptors of estrogen, because estrogen has like 2 receptors, and the isoflavones actually bind to the receptor that is protective against breast cancer, for instance, against certain cancers. So that is actually a positive thing. So it's actually having a positive action. So yeah, that was a little side note to say that even when it like disrupts your hormones, it can be for the better. But in most cases, that's not even what people are referring to. It's more these just like general statements about foods just disrupting their hormones in general without anything specific. It's just, again, these general claims that have no scientific basis, and people are preventing themselves from eating foods that are healthy and that taste good, that they enjoy, just because of hormones. So I actually had more buzzwords planned, but this video is already long, so let me know if it interests you. I can do a part 2. I really hope that you enjoyed this. Share your favorite nutrition buzzwords in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like it, subscribe, and see you on my next one. Bye!